I have said this is the hill I'm going to die on, that Shedeur Sanders, over the course of the next 10 months, will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I thought he was underdrafted. I don't think he's John Elway. I don't think he's Peyton Manning or even Eli. But I think he's the best quarterback they have, and it'll just take him time. And I think he's a good kid. By and large, good kid. But he said something yesterday to Cleveland.com. He said, 99% of the online scrutiny is because of my dad. And he is exactly right. That's why it was really a mistake when Dad went on shows and said things like this.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like that.
Okay.
Like, it's not like who I would like for him to play for. It's a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for. So it's not like that. But this is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's behind the curtain and what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
And
no
if he
in the world.
doesn't listen to you?
Who?
Yeah, bad. NFL owners see that. GMs see clips of that. And they're like, no thanks. Well, what about John Elway? His dad wasn't on TV telling teams, don't draft my son. Okay, and John Elway is the greatest quarterback prospect out of college ever. To this day, ever. The more talent, the more leverage in every walk of life. Watching the NFL draft this year on both ESPN and the NFL Network was maddening. I can understand why he's dropping. What in the world is happening? Dad is happening. That's why I like the tact that Arch Manning and his family's doing. They're staying in the shadows. That's where all the real power is in life. Get out in the sun and get burned. Deion was in the sun. Deion spent too much time on television talking. Doesn't mean Deion's a bad guy. He's a great recruiter. He's done wonderful things for Colorado. He's an all-time great player. But I have said this over and over, and I will repeat it. Dads, stop talking. Nobody cares. Quarterback dad has become pageant mom. Your heart is in the right place. You have good intent. You are hurting your sons. Nico Iamaleava, remember that? Tennessee? He cost his son millions of dollars, and now he's at a second-tier college football program instead of the Tennessee Volunteers. So this is a cautionary tale. The NFL controls television networks. It's the only sport that tells the networks what they will pay for the rights, and then has the right mid-contract to step in and change it. Yeah, they're not going to have dads tell them where their son's going to play. And so this is not, I understand the devotion, the love, and the 15 years you put into your son, pageant mom, quarterback dad. But he's got it right. Shedur's got it right. It's dad, it's pops. He got in the way. And I also understand the heart and affection and the loyalty of the dads. Like, I get it. I've said this before to people. I can be really objective about everything in the world, except my kids. I can be objective, I think, mostly about my wife, about my life, about my career, about not my kids. It's just different. And I understand it's tough. But I like that Shadur knows it's kind of pops. And we'll see it more and more and more and more. And I know I hear, what about Eli Manning? Eli Manning was a better prospect. Also, his brother was in the league as an MVP at the same position. And, oh, yeah, his dad had, been a brilliantly talented, albeit in a horrible franchise, quarterback. The Mannings are a royal family in America, certainly at the quarterback position. And I don't remember Arch Manning going on TV. They did a lot of their stuff behind the scenes, which I'm always okay with. I've just said, stay out of the sun. You're going to get a sunburn. Put on the SPF 50. Do your maneuvering behind the scenes where people can claim you said things, but you have culpability. But when you go on television and exclaim, not doing that, we're not going there, you are talking directly to the people, the companies, the corporations, the owners and GMs who are going to draft you.
Yeah. Listen. To me, the fact that this segment even exists right now is really kind of the perfect representation, because for the last, I guess, 2-3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, there's just a Shedeur Sanders segment with the Cleveland Browns every single day. And I skip a lot of them, and was skipping even more before, to the point where then I even just came out and said, you know what, like, let me ask the people who are watching these videos, like, do you want me to cover this? You know, what is this? Because there's so much forced content around Shedeur Sanders. I've still seen only maybe like 2 Cam Ward takes in the last like 2 months, 3 months. I mean, since before the draft and even after the draft. And it's just Shedeur. Shedeur is just so popular. I think Shedeur has it right and wrong when he says, you know, all of this online criticism is because of Deion. And it's both yes and no. Because some of it is also because of Shedeur, just because of his sheer popularity. And it doesn't automatic, and granted, now that popularity is a lot of, you know, a lot of it was given and created because of Deion. But at the same time, there's other Sanders that aren't getting that amount of attention necessarily. So, you know, there's also something about Shedeur individually that makes him a wildly popular athlete. And people, you know, we can talk about just the criticism out there, but there is so much praise and people defending Shedeur. I make a video about Shedeur Sanders, and the vast majority of comments are, Shedeur is king, Shedeur is king, Shedeur is king, Shedeur is king. I do not make a video where now the comment section is just endlessly people just ripping Shedeur Sanders. So make no mistake about it. There are more Shedeur Sanders supporters online on the internet, however Shedeur exactly phrased it, than not, quite frankly. That's just been my experience. And, you know, but I do think it is always frustrating and disingenuous when people bring up like John Elway, or they bring up Eli Manning, and it's like, right, like Peyton Manning was literally an MVP at the time, and just absolute football royalty. And Eli was a better prospect coming out of college. Like that's just a fact. So when people want to try to use that as an example, then they want to use that as an example for a specific reason that ends up making it, you know, more controversial. It is always frustrating to see, because if Shedeur Sanders had the exact same timeline of events that he's had in terms of like leading up to the draft and played in Colorado, you know, all that fun stuff, but he had an older brother. Like if his older brother was essentially Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. I don't want to go to Patrick Mahomes, but honestly, that's probably a better example. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Shedeur Sanders would not have fallen. And that's essentially what happened also with Eli Manning, is that like his brother is like, you know, at that time, his older brother, they're like, this is going to be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. And so like that matters as well. Like all of these things kind of matter. And if Deion Sanders was a quarterback himself rather than a completely different position, and was a quarterback himself and was an amazing elite Hall of Famer at quarterback, that would have also probably bode well for Shedeur Sanders. So it was kind of the perfect storm, and Shedeur Sanders did not help himself out. People talk about some of these interviews and, oh, the interviews weren't real or this or that, and now other teams, you know, those interviews were lies or whatnot. And it's like, they're not, because all the other teams do their own due diligence. Okay, if the Pittsburgh Steelers were interested in Shedeur, they were like, oh, well, I heard he had a bad interview with New York, so we're not going to draft him now. Like, that's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. Okay? And if there was some big giant plot against him, it's just like the Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback. They have Mike Tomlin as their head coach. Rooney rule, etc., etc. Just came off the season of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, like, there's no way that a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers would go along with some like gigantic collusion or some sort of other, you know, nefarious undertone led decision making, let's call it. And so again, that's why I also kind of hate talking about this at this point, because it's just, I want to move beyond all of that. And what's frustrating too is that people seem to really struggle to ever, fans that is, seem to really struggle to ever admit that a player did something wrong. Admit that either Shedeur, Deion, etc. made wrong decisions, made wrong moves. It's always, they just always want to blame everything else but them. And I just think that's absurd, especially when it's things that are clearly in their control, you know? And you can even see that segment that Deion Sanders was on with Tamron Hall or whatever, and you could see the cockiness. You could see the, I get to pull all the strings. That's who I am. I am Deion. I know this business. This is my expertise. I pull the strings here. And there is not a single powerful, mega wealthy billionaire that is okay with that. Especially if, and the only way they would be even remotely okay with that is if they think your son or the player, the individual, is going to be special and is going to make a gajillion dollars from them. Otherwise, it's like, we're not putting up with it. It's why we see year after year after year, league after league after league. It's, when you're making me great money, Aaron Rodgers, I don't care if you're going on interviews. I don't care if you have this view or that view and you're going on that podcast, not podcast. If you're great and you're winning me games, awesome, don't care. The moment your skill drops even the slightest bit, it's like, oh, we don't want you, goodbye, see ya. And it's like that whether you're Aaron Rodgers or whether you're Shedeur Sanders, whether you're Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, whether you're Tom Brady, or the Patriots were literally like, we don't know if Tom Brady's Tom Brady anymore. They didn't do everything they could to make sure that he stayed there and retired with New England. They were like, all right, I guess it's time for you to move on. And they were happy to do it. They were happy to do it. So that's just the way it goes, man. That's just the way it goes. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Shedeur Sanders? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.